Welcome to Darwin, an aspiring climate-resilient neighborhood. Hey Emme, what is a climate-resilient neighborhood?
A climate-resilient neighborhood is a community that adapts to changing cultural, ecological, and climatic conditions.
These neighborhoods require an inherent transition to new habits that incorporate an environmental and social awareness.
Okay, let's break that down.
So the first step to creating a climate-resilient community is sustainable infrastructure, which is the built environment here in the community. So here at Darwin, they've retrofitted old barracks from the 1800s to create a unique multi-use space. Here they've integrated small local businesses, restaurants, office spaces, and even a school that draw in locals and newcomers. So while there are lots of community spaces here in Darwin, there are no residential spaces here in the barracks. So we propose to increase the integration of residential space, reduce car traffic, and increase bike and pedestrian infrastructure along with links to public transportation.
The second part to a climate-resilient neighborhood is a circular economy. A circular economy is an economic framework that emphasizes the reutilization and recycling of resources in order to facilitate sustainable growth and a decrease of the production of waste. Here we have the skate park. Most of the materials for the Darwin project are salvaged from the city from demolition and dump sites. Sourcing materials from these sites creates a less energy-intensive production and construction process. For example, this skate park behind us was built by community members by using salvaged materials like wood and even these steel frames. The community garden feeds the homeless and waste is composted. The restaurant sources its food from local organic farms, and additionally, the rainwater is collected from the roofs for irrigation in the garden. However, we cannot sell the food from this garden in restaurants. Food waste from the restaurant is sent to an industrial composter and creates a disconnect between the community and its food. So we propose that we increase food production on site and allow it to be used in the local restaurant so that disconnect will be connected again between the community and its food.
The third component of a climate-resilient community is clean energy. Energy production which produces minimal GHG emissions and has a low impact on the ecosystems involved with its production. Up here we have solar panels, but improving this, we could have other forms of renewables to power Darwin throughout the year.
The fourth step towards a climate-resilient neighborhood is emergency planning. Knowing how unpredictable nature is, communities must prepare for physical adaptations and hypothetical steps to follow in case of a disaster. This area is located within a very large floodplain. The infrastructure of Darwin is not conducive to flood prevention. Building within a floodplain is not sustainable, no matter how climate-resilient a neighborhood is.
The fifth component to climate-resilient communities is social and environmental well-being. The community must be designed to create community networks fostering diversity and inclusion, while also paying respect to the surrounding ecosystem. Darwin does this well by providing shelter to those without homes. During lockdown, the community provided additional housing for others without homes and refugees. Communal spaces are also pervasive throughout the co-op, making it a wonderful place for social gatherings. The space also promotes biodiversity within its green spaces and gardens. There is also an eco-conscious private school that educates 60 students on site. Proposals for improvement would be residential spaces to further strengthen the community structure because physical interactions form stronger relationships and enable community-supported projects.
The final step to building a climate-resilient neighborhood is financial support. So in order to actualize the goals of a climate-resilient neighborhood, businesses, governments, citizens, and organizations must support these efforts through collaboration and socially responsible investment. Here at Darwin, they're investing all the money earned within the community from the rent, collection, and profits from the restaurants into maintaining and improving the liability of the community. Additionally, renters benefit from lower cost real estate and shared resources from the co-op. Darwin also invests into local businesses to create a strong economic network that supports the goals and projects of the city. However, due to long-standing cooperation between the local government and construction lobbyists, no matter how much money Darwin is willing to invest into expansion, they are being denied it. Working with legislators and the community to combat lobbying is what we propose.
Darwin has done a lot of good with the resources they have available, but there are still various ways to go towards making the community more climate resilient and sustainable.
We hope that you can take away examples of innovative solutions from Darwin and proposals for future improvements.
What works best here might not work as well in your community, but as long as it fits within a climate resilient framework, you are on the right path. Thanks for watching,
And don't forget to be sustainable.